46% of all tries originate from a line out. That's why it's critical to get up in there and compete if you're wanting to win more games. In this video, I'm going to go over 3 tips on taking control of the opposition's line out, with a bonus tip at the end that you won't want to miss. Now, most teams spend a lot of time perfecting their line out attack, and often without defensive pressure. So in a game, if we can just apply a little bit of outside pressure, we can very easily disrupt the team's timing, attack patterns, strike moves, and more importantly, give us a greater chance of getting that ball back. So tip number 1, and that's video analysis. Probably the most underused and underrated tool in rugby coaching. So how I like to do it is I get my decision makers or jumpers just to go over the opposition's last game and just go through each of their lineouts. And you can do this, only takes 10 minutes. You can just quickly scroll through the game and just stop at each lineout and just make a list of who their go-to jumper is, what the hooker's accuracy and range is like, and any trick plays or how they move, so that we can create a defensive plan and dedicate just 10 minutes in training to do it, to hopefully really disrupt their line out on the weekend. Tip number 2, set traps. I like to use what we found in the video analysis to bait the opposition. For example, if they like jumping in a certain position, I'll leave that space open so they think that they have a free ball there, and my players will be ready. As soon as they move, we'll close that space, get up in the air and compete, and hopefully steal that ball. Traps like this can disrupt their confidence and leave them second guessing their decisions for the rest of the game. Tip number 3, adapt to the conditions. Now, the weather can completely change how we're going to defend the line out. I like to have my players have a separate playbook for certain conditions, so they know exactly what to do, whether it's windy, whether it's rainy, whatever's happening, how we're going to change our defensive style, defensive system to best defend in those conditions. Having a clear plan can give you a huge edge. Now for the bonus tip, and that is a 2-man pod. This tactic is a game changer, especially with the 5-man line out. So I like to use a 2-man pod at the front, that's a lifter and a jumper, and their role is basically to cover the front, but also to get in between the line of sight of the hooker and his jumper. And what this does, it messes with their timing and can force the hooker to adjust his throw. I also really like using the 2-man pod as a primer drill to warm up my jumpers and lifters. I'll have a lifter at the front who's working on body position, grip strength and the lift, and I'll have a jumper just stepping forward and jumping, and so between them they're also working on their timings. If you've liked this video, please go down to the comments, leave a thumbs up, and happy coaching.